Trent Alexander-Arnold. Is he a right back or is he a midfielder? This video, I'm going to look at both positions for the player and decide where do Liverpool go with him next season. Over the last few weeks, we've seen a different role for Trent, and Jurgen Klopp has seemed to have sparked a new life into this Liverpool team through Trent and through this new hybrid position. Still playing at right back, but going forward, he moves himself into a midfield 3, midfield 2, alongside Fabinho to give the attack some form of creativity. Creativity we lack in that area of the pitch this season. But Trent has turned into a different player. Defensively, he's got a little bit better, but attacking-wise, we're getting the absolute best out of him right now. But what is this position? Is it a right back or is it midfielder? Currently, obviously, the right back is where he plays, but going forward, going into midfield. So where do we play next season? I've heard Dean Saunders from TalkSport say that we don't need a midfielder next season. Play Trent there. I've heard a lot of people saying Trent can't defend, so it makes sense pushing him in the midfield, push him into the right wing. I'm going to break that down for you. I'm going to break that down in a way. We're going to look at positives and negatives on both sides of midfield and defence. In the right back position, he has been caught out quite a lot. He's been caught out ball watching, he's been caught out the overlap, and is just not looking around, no attention to who's behind him. Again, crosses, always seems to misjudge a cross. He always seems to forget there's a player behind him coming in from the back post from a cross. And this year, for me, work rate as well has been quite low for Trent. Work rate, getting back and making sure you get that tackle in. There's some games, obviously, recently he's improved that a lot, but majority of the season, he hasn't really put that effort in as much as I'm used to seeing, and we're used to seeing. But right back positives, it's there for all to see what the positives are. Right back, the support of Salah, the crosses he gets to manage to get in from the right hand side, the 180-degree vision he has, where he can spray the ball across to Robertson, he can spray the ball across to whoever's on left wing, Diaz, Nunes, whoever's there. He can see the whole pitch in front of him at right back. Midfield, he can't do that. Midfield, he can't see the whole pitch. He only sees the whole pitch if he's coming from right back. If he starts at right back and he comes into midfield, he can still see the whole pitch because you see the whole pitch going into midfield. If he starts in midfield, he ain't going to see the whole pitch in front of him. He has to turn. He has to do 360 to see. So let's have a look at midfield then. What are the positives of midfield? Obviously, the attack is always there. He's always present in that attacking role. Those little intricate passes that some people don't see. You're not going to do them as much at right back. Obviously, he's got his long range passes, his crosses, his in between the lines passes come from middle area, and that's where we sometimes see the best of Trent. We've seen it in the last few weeks where he likes those short spaces, can get away from players quite quickly. He's very skillful to get away from players. But those little passes, they sort of, who can I describe it as? I'm going back to like Yossi Benayoun. He used to do them for Liverpool. Those little intricate passes. Alonso did them every now and then, but not intricate. Mainly long passes on the floor, long balls over the top. I'm thinking that little creative, like number 10 sort of role, where Trent can find those passes that not many can in his Liverpool team. Maybe Thiago Alcantara, and that's about it. Maybe Salah. But does that mean midfield is position? Does that mean he'll get the best out of him in midfield? I don't think so. Let's have a look at the negatives of midfield. We talk about lack of awareness at right back. You need to be on it in midfield. If you're going to defend and attack in midfield, you need to be on it at all times. Your attention needs to be 360. Your attention needs to be everywhere, all over the pitch. You need to take the ball in a half turn. You need to welcome pressure. Because at right back, when he gets the ball at right back, he's usually by himself. He's usually got a bit of space to spray the ball around. I'm not saying he can't welcome pressure, but it's a completely different ball game. Completely different ball game in midfield. And that's where you could sway it, of where he starts. When you hear Dean Saunders talk about midfield, does he even know what he's on about? Is he just saying it because Trent can pass? And when he talks about not bringing a midfielder in for Liverpool, that's ridiculous. So where should we play Trent next season? Exactly where Jurgen Klopp is playing him now. Exactly where Jurgen Klopp is playing him now. At right back, but when going forward, he can push into a midfield. It doesn't matter if we sign Barella. It doesn't matter if we sign Agate. It doesn't matter who we sign. He can still push into midfield going forward. Kanate's job of covering him right there, because we ain't got Henderson's legs anymore. He can't cover him. He's always been let down, especially this year with Henderson's legs. He's always been let down where he's had no one to cover him, so it looks exposed. But that's not Trent's fault at times. That's the system's fault. But now we've got Kanate that does that, and Fabinho can drop back into like a centre-back position as well. That, to me, is where Trent should be. And no, it's not starting from midfield. It's starting from right back. Because like I said earlier, this guy needs to see the whole pitch in front of him. Not behind him, in front of him. He can decide then whether he wants to stay back and pass from there or go into midfield and pass from there. He can decide that in game. I don't want to put him in his position where he's in midfield and that's where he's got to be. And he's not going to see that full vision in front of him as much as he wants to, as much as he needs to. Trent Alexander-Arnold can defend, by the way. I've seen this guy beat prime Leroy Sané in one-on-ones. I've seen him beat Neymar in one-on-ones. So he can defend. Yes, culpable. Very culpable. A lot of goals sometimes we concede. And he does make a few errors. And I rightly criticise him for that. Rightly criticise him for that. He's only a young lad, though. Only a young lad. Still miles off his potential, I think. He's still miles off his prime. People forget to think how young this guy is. He's been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, and he's still young. In recent games, in recent weeks, he's been getting man of the match performances every single week. And that's playing at right back, by the way. He's playing at right back. He just goes forward into midfield in attacks. Will that work against the big teams? Why not? Why not? As long as Kanate covers, and we've got a defence midfielder that can drop back into centre-back, then why not? We need his creativity in the middle. But we can't forget where he plays. And he plays at right back. We can't forget he comes from right back to see the whole pitch. Trent Alexander-Arnold can play midfield at times, but he's a right back. And he can move forward into midfield and attacks. This hybrid position, as a hybrid, this is what it is. It's like an inverted right back. Inverted wingers, like an inverted right back. It's like right back / midfield. This hybrid position that Jurgen Klopp has given him is the position we need to see him next season. Is the position we need to see him in the next 10 years at Liverpool. This guy can be a future Liverpool captain, but give him the position that he needs to relish in. Don't put him out of position. Get the best out of his attributes. And right now, Jurgen Klopp is getting the best out of his attributes while still keeping him in position that he's used to. And that's where we should play him. Exactly where he is now.